Well, as we sit and we wait for this bombshell evidence to just appear out of thin air to prove that Alexander Povetkin did not take the drug meldonium after WADA instated its ban on January 1st of 2016, where it's continually being led to believe that Dan Rafael basically made up this whole thing, editorialized his whole story, stretched the truth, and 99.9% of the article that he wrote talking about Povetkin's positive drug test for meldonium, we're supposed to believe that 99.9% of it is all opinion. It's all just him spewing off, trying to lead us to believe something that really isn't true. So not in so many words, you guys are calling Dan Rafael a liar, all of you Povetkin defenders. And he just made this up and exaggerated this whole thing. Well, let's really take a look at the article he wrote and let's dissect it. Let's really dissect it. And you guys tell me if he really lied about this. Why would he not have been sued for libel at this point? And why could he, and how could he ever say these things and just do something stupid like this, and to think ESPN would even publish the story if all of this information was just him stretching the truth and him just stating his opinion. You think ESPN would even allow this to go on their website if what you guys are claiming is so true? Let's take a look at this now. It says ESPN.com has obtained two separate written reports sent by VADA's president, Dr. Margaret Goodman, to both camps as well as the WBC, whose title Wilder holds, notifying them that Povetkin was negative for any banned substances in VADA-conducted tests on April 7th, April 8th, April 11th. So Povetkin, who has yet to ask for his B sample to be tested, this was before he did, apparently used meldonium between April 11th and his positive tests on April 27th. The letter sent to Goodman disclosing the negative results on April 7th and April 8th was sent on April 21st. The letter confirming the negative results on April 11th was sent on April 30th. And then it goes on to say, this information you have obtained is accurate, promoter Lou DiBella, who represents Wilder, told ESPN.com on Saturday. It also contradicts the public statements made by Mr. Rybinski attempting to excuse Povetkin's positive result. If there was a trace amount from 2015 in his system, it would have shown up in the other 3 tests in April that preceded the positive test. So the only thing that you could really say that is opinion here is when Dan Rafael said that apparently meldonium was used by Povetkin in between April 11th and April 27th. But isn't that somewhat reasonable to suspect given the circumstances? Wouldn't 9 out of 10 people maybe say the same thing? So again, when anyone writes an article, of course they're going to look at what is presented to them. They're going to look at everything and all the information that they're assessing. And of course they're going to have an opinion on it. I mean, so you mean to tell me that he couldn't put like one? So there's basically in this whole article that he supposedly editorialized, there's one sentence in this whole article basically that just states his opinion. And it also states my opinion and hundreds of other people's opinions based on what they've read so far. So I don't understand what was done here to mislead anybody. The only person refuting any of this is Mr. Rybinski, Alexander Povetkin's promoter. So, I mean, Margaret Goodman didn't come out and say any of this information that Dan Rafael reported. He even put her name in the article. She's not refuting anything he said. Margaret Goodman, president of VADA. She's not refuting anything that he said. So why should we if she's not? And her name is in this article and she's being mentioned as sending the letter out to Lou DiBella, Mr. Ryabinski, and the WBC. So if Dan Rafael was stretching the truth, if he was over editorializing this article and just putting in his own words and twisting and turning the story around and flat out lying about it, don't you think VADA would have asked ESPN.com to retract this story? It hasn't been done. So you guys want to keep bashing Dan Rafael. Now the new thing is WADA fucked up, and possibly they did fuck up. But how is that Deontay Wilder's fault that WADA fucked up? And again, you want to say that this is not like any other drug test out there, and I can understand why someone would say that. But this should have come to no surprise to Alexander Povetkin, because 127 athletes since this ban was instated were busted for this drug. So he knew, the severity of taking this drug. He saw other people getting busted for this drug. So it wasn't like he was the first guy to get popped for this drug. Okay? So he knew. It wasn't some ambush. It wasn't some cockamamie scheme just to single out Alexander Povetkin and punish Alexander Povetkin. And yeah, of course, we're going to mention that a lot of Russian athletes have taken this drug, and that doesn't mean we're biased against Russian athletes, because this is a Russian drug. It's not an American drug. It's a drug that is manufactured in Russia. So just because it's manufactured in Russia, that's not why we're criticizing the drug. Or I'm not really criticizing the drug. I don't care either way. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking at the situation and the circumstances involved in the situation. And Alexander Povetkin knew that he was not supposed to take this drug because he saw 127 athletes get busted before him. So it's not like, oh, all of a sudden I didn't know what I was doing. This was a mistake, blah, 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 blah. Because most intelligent people would want to know how you pass 3 tests and then shortly thereafter fail a 4th test. And they were all urine tests. I could see if 3 of them were urine and the last one was blood. I can understand that. But these were all urine tests. So this so-called witch hunt really is not a witch hunt at all. You guys are just grasping for straws. You need so bad to believe that Povetkin did not take this drug when the evidence suggests that he strongly did take this drug after the ban. So, you can say whatever you want. You can call Dan Rafael a liar. You can call WADA stupid. But the fact of the matter is, 127 athletes have taken this drug. And if it does nothing as you guys say it does, which you could even be right, I don't know. Because I've taken clenbuterol and it did shit for me, but other people swear by it. I've taken creatine, it did shit for me, but other people swear by it. Never taken anabolics, but I've taken ephedra-based supplements. I've taken pretty much everything that is borderline illegal, legal. And some stuff worked for me, some stuff didn't. But just because some stuff doesn't work for some people, you could do all the research in the world. You're going to find 2 or 3 people that are going to say, this did nothing for me. Okay? But if 8 people said it did, then, that's enough to, cause some concern. That's enough to cause some concern. So, the only people who are really crying for this drug to not be banned and not be illegal is the manufacturer of this drug. You don't see any Russian athletic committee or anyone in Russia in charge of athletics saying, oh, this drug should not be banned. No, it's only the manufacturer of the drug. And obviously that manufacturer is doing that because they want to make money off their drug. So if this was such a bad thing to ban this drug, then why aren't all these Russian organizations, why aren't all these athletic organizations in Russia coming out and saying, oh, lift the ban from this drug? There's only one person, or one group, I should say, doing that, and that's the manufacturer of the drug. No one else. There's no outcry of claims being made to legalize this drug. So, I mean, let's just look at it for what it is. Let's look at it objectively. Let's stop saying, oh, he's being treated unfairly because he's Russian. This is a Russian thing. If it was an American who was banned for this, again, there's been many. When James Toney popped positive, no African American defended him. When Andre Berto popped positive, no African American defended him. When Lamont Peterson popped positive, no African American defended him. Okay? So when all these people pop positive, you want to make it a race thing, but I don't remember any African American YouTube channel coming out defending these athletes when they were found positive with the drug. It was just the opposite. They were being criticized as well. So don't make this a black and white thing. Oh, what if this was Wilder? What if this wasn't a Russian athlete? Because the empirical data shows that you guys are wrong, because nobody defended these other athletes, and just the contrary, these same channels came out and criticized those athletes. All right? So the witch hunt does not exist. It's being created by certain people out here on YouTube. And what else can I say? Just can't say it any clearer. So until next time, that's all I got. Beeb is out. And once again, thank you all for watching. Peace.